Breaking news on To The Point. Multiple people found dead inside of a home in Suisun City. We're live with the latest. Plus, are California's climate goals at risk? Just hours after the House repeals the state's gas car ban.
It's going to restore the choice for California consumers.
What's next for the state? A heated debate at the state capitol over child sex trafficking.
If you do not vote for this today, what you said that you cared about 16 and 17-year-olds was a lie.
How a controversial bill is now moving forward. And later, escaping the Vietnam War.
The risks were enormous. We probably would have been captured and put in re-education camps.
How one local family made it to America, setting and achieving a new dream. Thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell, and we do begin with breaking news tonight out of Suisun City, where police are investigating a very disturbing discovery. Within the last 30 minutes, we are learning 3 people were found dead inside of a home just earlier today. Investigators are focusing in on a house on Lassen Avenue. Officers say they do not believe there is a threat to the community, but I want to go ahead and bring in ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha. He's joining us live from the scene tonight. And Garshpal, what have we really been able to learn so far?
Yeah, Alex, police earlier were telling us there was more than one person that they found dead at this house, but the latest news that we're getting is 3 people were found dead at this house. And the scene here has wrapped up here. Police have wrapped up their on-site portion of the investigation, but neighbors tell us this is where that police activity was happening around this home, but many were unaware of what had happened until officers arriving in larger numbers. Now, Suisun Police Department tells us they were called to this house Thursday morning and discovered 3 bodies inside, and they had not released the identities of the victim and say the cause of death is still under investigation. Investigators say there were no signs of foul play or struggle inside the residence, and that the fire department checked out the air quality issues at the house for carbon monoxide, but none were found. Now, officials say they are waiting to get a report from the coroner's office to see exactly why those 3 people died. But Suisun Police did tell us that the one thing that they can tell us is that there is no active threat to the public. And within the last 30 minutes, again, police confirming that there were 3 bodies that were found inside this Suisun City home. Reporting live in Suisun City, Garshpal Sangha, ABC 10.
All right, thank you so much. And you can stay up to date and get alerts like this story sent straight to your phone as it happens. Just download the free ABC 10 Plus app right in your app store. All right, California's ban on the sale of new gas-powered vehicles by 2035 just hit a red light. The House of Representatives voted today to undo a waiver from the EPA that helped pave the way for the ban. ABC 10's Becca Hobbecker is in studio to drive this home for us. And Becca, I feel like we just talked about this not too long ago, actually.
Yeah, you know, Alex, I stood right here in this studio back in December reporting on 2 waivers newly granted by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency that would allow the California Air Resources Board to move forward with that statewide ban. Now, at the time, Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley vowed to fight it, and fight he did.
In September of 2020, Governor Gavin Newsom signed an executive order establishing a goal that 100% of in-state sales of new passenger cars and trucks will be zero emission by 2035, and all medium and heavy-duty vehicles in the state be zero emission by 2045.
We will be the first jurisdiction in the world to require all new cars to be sold to be alternative fuel cars.
The goal was to fight climate change, reduce pollutants that lead to smog and damage people's health, and reduce the state's dependence on fossil fuels in favor of clean, renewable fuels.
I don't think that's an appropriate policy.
Critics, including Republican U.S. Representative Kevin Kiley of Rockland, have opposed the ban this whole time.
I don't think it's the right thing for the government to do, to order millions of Californians what car they should drive. I think it should be up to individuals to drive the car of their choice.
But in order to enact this ban, California would need to impose standards that are stricter than what federal regulations allow. In 2023, the EPA granted California a waiver, followed by 2 more last December. In response, Kiley posted on X, "We will promptly reverse Newsom's insane mandate in the new year." And that's just what he worked to do.
Today's action really just restores common sense and says that you should be able to drive the car of your choice, and it passed with bipartisan support.
Kiley spoke with ABC 10 on Thursday, the day a majority of U.S. representatives, 200 Republicans and 35 Democrats, voted to withdraw one of those waivers. The day before, the House had already voted to withdraw the other 2. Kiley is among the representatives who introduced the resolutions that, using something called the Congressional Review Act, would withdraw the waivers, though they still need the approval of the Senate.
I believe it'll pass in the Senate.
In response to the votes, Governor Newsom said, in part, Trump Republicans are hell-bent on making California smoggy again. Clean air didn't used to be political. Our vehicles program helps clean the air for all Californians and will continue defending it. He and State Attorney General Rob Bonta pointed out both the nonpartisan U.S. Government Accountability Office and Senate parliamentarian have said the Congressional Review Act does not apply to these waivers. Bonta said, in part, not only would the misuse of the CRA undermine the integrity of our democratic process, but it would also be unlawful, adding his office is monitoring the situation closely, including what happens next in the Senate.
I asked the offices of Governor Newsom and Attorney General Bonta for interviews today, and they were not available to speak with me.
Thank you so much. Well, it was a tense day at the Capitol amongst California lawmakers on the Assembly floor as they argued about amendments to a bill addressing child sex trafficking. This week, AB 379, introduced by Democrat Assembly member Maggie Krell, passed the Assembly Public Safety Committee, but with amendments. The amendments remove portions of the bill addressing soliciting sex from a minor between the ages of 16 and 17. Assembly Republicans fought back this morning by asking for that portion to be put back into the bill.
And it takes away the ability of prosecutors to actually prosecute and punish individuals who purchase 16 and 17-year-olds. That, at the end of the day, is the plain English legal standing of what you're about to do.
Democrats reiterated that it is a felony if an adult contacts a minor to pay for sex and that Republicans are just playing politics. The amendments to the bill also remove Krell as the author, replaced by Democrat Assembly members Stephanie Nguyen and Nick Schultz, who say the goal of this bill with its amendments is to protect vulnerable children.
If you do not vote for this today, where you said that you cared about 16 and 17-year-olds was a lie, that you don't care, because these amendments include the 16 and 17-year-olds that you raised your mic and you talked so much about.
Ultimately, the amendments to the bill passed 55-21, with the bill's original author, Assemblymember Krell, voting no. This bill now moves to the Appropriations Committee. A shakeup in President Donald Trump's cabinet today. The president says that the president today saying he's naming Secretary of State Marco Rubio as acting national security advisor to replace Mike Waltz. And it comes after the news broke this morning that Waltz and his deputy were departing the administration. Sources say Trump has been increasingly frustrated by Waltz after he inadvertently added a reporter to the Signal chat where military attack plans were discussed. He will now be nominated for UN ambassador, where he will need to be confirmed by the Senate. And I also want to mention President Trump recently marked his 100 days of his second term. He's issued more than 140 executive orders overhauling government and national policies. The To The Point team spent an hour breaking down the president's actions and their impact on California. You can watch our special California and Trump's first 100 days on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. Just search for California and Trump on the home screen. Still ahead, escaping the Vietnam War. Meet one local family who survived the Fall of Saigon, the event that reshaped a generation.
And it was definitely another warm day out there. We're in the 80s across much of the valley, but not as warm as yesterday. And we're going to continue to cool as we head into the weekend forecast after the break.
Plus, Champions of Hope, how high schooler runners are going the extra mile to give back to those in need. Welcome back in. Let's get into your weather now. Meteorologist Brendan Minchef joining us with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, it was a warm day out there, not quite as warm as yesterday. Made it to 87 at Sacramento Executive Airport yesterday. That was the warmest day of the year so far at the Executive Airport. Today we made it to 84. Now, if you're wondering why we're talking about Executive and not downtown, the downtown climate site is actually going away by the end of this month. So we're shifting all of our numbers over to Sacramento Executive Airport, which is officially the climate site anyways. 84, again, high temperature today for the start of the new month. We have a lot of days left to fill out, but we started several degrees warmer than normal for the time of year. 84 in Sacramento today, 85 Stockton, 85 Modesto, 83 in Vacaville, 78 Fairfield, 79 in Auburn. It was 91 up in Oroville, but look at this. We were running 5 to almost 10 degrees warmer than normal for the time of year in the Valley. Ukiah was plus 14 today. Currently 77 Sacramento, 81 Vacaville, 76 in Elk Grove, 82 in Manteca, 84 Modesto, 81 Stockton, 61 currently in South Lake Tahoe. And we have a pretty nice onshore breeze at the moment, which is helping to bring temperatures down relatively quickly this evening. We'll be in those mid 60s by 9 o'clock and upper 50s at 11 o'clock tonight. Friday morning, mostly clear, maybe a few marine stratus trying to work their way into the valley. Will be near 50 degrees. Tomorrow, upper 70s and low 80s, so temperatures continue that downward trend. As we look at Futurecast, there you go, some marine stratus potentially tomorrow. And then we're going to see another day with showers and thunderstorms up in the high country, but I think actually it may even be on the eastern slope of the Sierra. Saturday, still tracking a system coming in. We're going to bring some light showers to the foothills in the Sierra, but at this point, I think we likely stay dry in the valley on Saturday, though temperatures will be cool in the low 70s. Alex.
All right, Brendan, thank you. Next, on To the Point, fleeing Vietnam, how one local family made it to America, setting and achieving a new dream. Well, May marks Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Month. Tonight, we are focused on Vietnam. The Vietnam War spanned more than 19 years, claiming the lives of over 3 million people. And it became one of the longest, most costly, and controversial conflicts in U.S. history. But it's what came after that would reshape an entire generation. Tonight, I want to introduce you to Jackie Nguyen, who was just 3 when her family fled with nothing but hope and each other in a desperate pursuit of freedom.
What my parents shared with me, life then was very simple but thriving.
Life was just beginning for Harry and Tammy Nguyen. They married in 1970 and would go on to have 2 children and dreams for the future. But the Vietnam War would threaten those dreams.
Clashes with North Vietnamese regulars in the central coastal plain near Bong Son.
The Vietnam War had been raging since 1955. The communist North Vietnam government was at war with South Vietnam. The U.S. joined the fight to support South Vietnam. But in 1973, American troops pulled out. Just 2 years later, communist forces captured the South's capital, Saigon, an event that marked the end of the war and would come to be known as the Fall of Saigon.
When we left Vietnam, right before the Fall of Saigon, my father was in the military, and so he knew that his life was going to be precarious if he didn't leave. He was helping out the South Vietnamese. My parents, in the darkness of the night, left. They were the boat refugee people. They left with the clothes on their back. We didn't have anything.
At just 3 years old, Jackie and her family made a life or death decision to escape their homeland by sea. Clinging to the hope of a better future for their children, they decided to head to Guam.
When we got on the boat, we were sandwiched together like sardines. My mom would always tell me, you can't really breathe. The risks were enormous because had we not been successful in leaving, we probably would have been captured and put in re-education camps and not have the life that we have here. Maybe not even be alive.
The Fall of Saigon ended the war, but sparked one of the longest and largest refugee crises in history. Thousands died fleeing by sea, while the lucky escaped to camps in Guam, Thailand, and the Philippines. Over 1 million would start new lives in America.
People like my parents and myself, since we were part of that first wave of Vietnamese refugees who came here to the United States and settled here in California.
Jackie and her family becoming part of the 50,000 refugees housed at Camp Pendleton in San Diego, California. But the Nguyen's needed an American family to sponsor them.
The McManus family live in South San Diego, and they adopted us, just giving us that second chance in life. We call them grandparents.
The Nguyen's long-held dream of building a new life in America had finally come true. But different didn't mean easy.
We didn't speak English very well, so that was the social challenge. The economic challenge, my parents didn't have college degrees. My dad worked 3 different jobs. My mother works odd and end jobs, babysitting the neighbors' kids, collecting cans in the morning.
Her family's journey would come to define her not just as a survivor, but as a leader.
They would say, we don't care what you study in college, but you make sure you go to college because that is going to be your foundation to get out of poverty, to make something of yourself.
Jackie would go on to study journalism and graduate from San Diego State University.
Jackie Nguyen on the scene. Good morning.
Good morning, Lisa, and good morning, everyone.
I've always thought being Asian American, you always have to go into the medical field, engineering, doctor. The field of journalism back then, for me, I didn't think it was an option. I didn't know I wanted to be a journalist until my dad basically told me, he's like, you know, you should go into journalism.
In 2015, Jackie became the press secretary for the California Senate Republican Caucus.
Who would have thought that you would ever have this opportunity to work for the legislature and to be part of the process to help others out there, whether they're citizens, immigrants, underrepresented, or marginalized communities. In this position I'm in, we have an opportunity to help.
She serves on several boards and recently became a trustee for Solano Community College in 2024.
Thank you to Supervisor Mashburn for being here to swear me in.
The first Asian American to hold the title.
I put up my right hand. In my mind at that time, I was like, Dad, I really wish you were here to witness this in person, to see me. But I know you're up there guiding me.
In 2019,
I remember getting the call.
Harry Nguyen passed away.
My dad has always been my hero. I didn't realize that until he passed away. My whole world turned, because my dad was the one who's always gave me the suggestions and ideas to be where I'm at today.
He carried her to safety as they escaped Vietnam and through every step of life after.
I just wish that my father was still alive today to see everything that's for me at this point in my life. My brother is a pharmacist. My sister is in sales engineering.
Living the very dream her parents once risked everything to give her.
I think it's important for generations now to understand how much of an impact that time period made, not just only in America's history, but for Vietnam's history as well. I will always be Vietnamese American. That's first and foremost, Jackie Nguyen, Vietnamese American. I'm an immigrant. I'm a woman. I'm somebody who thought that I would never have an opportunity for the opportunities that I've been given in life. And so when you see opportunities out there, seize them.
And Jackie, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Right after the break, our Champions of Hope, how local students are helping to raise money for those in need. We know that in news, stories are filled with challenges and hardships, but incredible things are happening each and every day. And each week, our segment, Champions of Hope, we're sharing stories of people who are making a difference. Tonight, meet high school runners who are going the extra mile to give back. What started as a small idea between 5 freshman runners,
we all wanted to be able to give back to our community as well,
turned into a big community impact. Vista Del Lago High School freshmen Jack Armstrong, Asher Chang, Rocco Drewers, Mino Kim, and Landon Simpson co-founded Lace Up for Learning, a charity run hosted in Folsom that raises money to give back to underserved communities.
We just saw that there was something that we could do.
A way to give back in a way that through what we love.
Around 100 runners signed up for their first event last year, raising over $12,000. Serving over 2,000 students in the area, Lace Up for Learning purchased scientific calculators, books, first aid supplies, a new projector, and food for different schools.
The community's connected through this.
Their event this year raised over $18,000. And from what these runners tell us, this is just the beginning.
Not only do I get to do something with my friends that I love to do, doing it helps a good cause.
We all extremely appreciate our community for supporting us, and we can't wait to have a great turnout in the following years to come.
And don't forget to let us know when that next race is. All right, if you have someone that you think is making a difference, of course, we would love to hear about it. You can always share a story with us by emailing the team to thepoint@abc10.com. Together, we can keep spreading a little bit of positivity, one story at a time. That is our show tonight. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget, To the Point does not end here. To watch stories featured on our show, download our free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app straight to your TV. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.